Welcome to part two of the Sault Sports NOSSA football pregame show. I'm Tony Boniferro, joined alongside Coach Tom Annett of the Korah Colts. Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Great. My pleasure to be here, Bono.
So obviously big game coming up this weekend. You play a team that's riding quite the hot streak right now. Finished with a 3-1 record. One of the questions I had for Coach Debs was, the last game, the score was a little bit off, right? They lost their last game, but then he explained that, they rested a lot of guys and those types of things. So that's what kind of led to that. But what do you know about this team and what do you guys need to do well in order to pull out the victory?
Well, we know they dominated in North Bay this year. We know they threw the ball a lot, and they have some really talented skill position players. I think our number one job here is to not give up big plays. I know they have a very explosive offense. They gain, yards in chunks. And that's, like I said, that explosive passing game is something we really got to try and defend.
So this year for you guys, obviously it was a strange season all around with the number of games and bye weeks and those types of things. Just kind of talk about your season, just overall, and kind of the experience that you guys had this year.
Well, every season is unique. We came in flying this year. I think we're doing really well. We had some adversity though with some injuries to some real key guys. Some pretty serious injuries to some of our top players and leaders, and that they weren't able to be back this season. But I thought we did a really good job of the next man stepping up. We had a lot of guys who maybe weren't starters at the start of the season that are now playing big roles on the team as starters or on special teams. But I thought locally though, we got really good competition like we always do. And that prepares us really well for if we do get out of the city and have to play out of town opponents. And I think we had a great city championship game against a really good Superior Heights team. And I think they did a great job, and hats off to them. But we were able to squeak that one out. But yeah, like I said, overall, I think locally, we always say that's some of our toughest competition we see every year. And this year was no different.
So, obviously it's no surprise that Nicoletta is obviously the stud of the league this year and one of the better players that we've seen over the last few years, alongside quarterback Ryan Barnes, who's had another just unbelievable season. I don't know what he's more dangerous, running or passing. He's had a great year both ways. Just kind of talk about those two guys as leaders on the offense and just what they bring to you guys this year as a team.
Yeah, they're both team captains, and they both really stepped up, obviously on the field, but as leaders too. Really proud of both of those guys, what they've done. Ryan, what a rare combination of the ability to throw the ball, run, and also block. We incorporate him into some of our blocking schemes offensively. And, I was saying the other day to Jay that I don't think we've had a QB that's been able to do all three of those things. We've had some good runners, some good throwers, some good runners and throwers. But then when you add the blocking element into there, Ryan is such a unique talent that allows us to do some really interesting things offensively. Mike Nicoletta, like league MVP, is so explosive. He has so many intangibles too. And I don't think I need to speak about his talent on the offensive side of the ball, but where he really stepped up this year and exceeded expectations was on the defensive side of the ball. One of our top linebackers, and also plays some safety for us. And he's delivered some punishing hits and has created some big time plays and turnovers for us. So both those guys, they've been playing a long time. They know football. They've been playing since Sault Minor, and we're sure lucky to have them on our roster.
Now, obviously your offense was pretty dominant this year, and the running game was top notch. But I think a lot of people don't talk enough about your defense necessarily. Talk a little bit about your defense this year and some of the leaders that you have there, and just kind of what drives you defensively.
Yeah, there were some unique challenges. What we thought we were going to get at the start of the year was like a run-heavy offense from all of our opponents. Yeah. And then we come out and see both teams kind of in spread, and even St. Mary's earlier in the season, just like empty sets, 4-by-1. So that kind of caught us off guard, and we kind of had to adapt as the season went on. But I think our defensive coordinator, Jamie Antonello, did a great job of adapting, along with Jason Thompson, who also helps with defensive coordinating. They've done a great job. The defensive line, I think, has been really good all year. We lost a couple guys there, but a guy like Jacob Brown has really stepped up, especially in the city finals. He had an unbelievable game on the defensive line. The linebacking core is solid too, led by the defensive player of the year, Nathan Karanen, who's just another unbelievable leader on our program, a fifth-year player. And the defensive backfield is led by Caleb Plastino. He's a fifth-year back there. And he's done a great job all year. A lot of times we'll match him up with the other team's top receiver, and he's just been excellent.
Yeah. What about, one player in particular I wanted to ask you about, and this is more on a personal note, was because I coached him at White Pines, but it was nice to see Connor Ritchie, come over and play for you guys. And the one thing I always admired about Connor back when he played for us was, White Pines, we weren't necessarily the toughest, or we weren't necessarily obviously the biggest school and had a tough time keeping kids. Connor played running back for us every game, right? And he was good, and he took a pounding, and he never complained, and he did a great job for us. Just kind of talk about him this year and how you kind of saw him develop as a football player and as a person.
Yeah, Connor came in ready to play this year, and breaks my heart. He had a broken collarbone earlier in the season, because I really think he had next level talent. Could play at the university level, and he still can. It's just a shame that he didn't get to really put all this hard work on film this year. But we had him playing a linebacker for us, and those couple games he played, he was unbelievable. He was also playing some fullback and some guard for us. And those are kind of premier spots in high school football, and we put him there for a reason. But like I said, it broke my heart to see him get that collarbone injury, but other guys stepped up and filled the role. But Connor's still there at practice. I think his recovery is ahead of schedule, and he's a multi-sport athlete. So we're really happy to find out that he's still going to be able to play basketball this year. That's
great. Another player I wanted to ask you about with a little bit of injury trouble, which is unfortunate, is Dante Scaglione. So just kind of talk about Dante and what he brought to you guys this year.
Well, Dante is also a captain. He's the emotional leader of our team. And you could just see it. It really hurt our team, I think, obviously just talent-wise, but emotionally, he just took some wind out of our sails when we saw him get hurt that game. He was the lineman of the league this year, or co-winner of that award, and very well deserved. He was a punishing blocker and just a tear on the D line, very disruptive. But just such a workhorse, like one of the strongest kids we've ever coached, one of the hardest workers in the weight room. But he'll be back. If there's anything I know about him, he's tough as nails. He's going to do what he has to do to get healthy again. And sorely, we really missed him, but he's another guy. Despite his injury, he's at practice, and he's still considered one of the captains and leaders of our program.
That's awesome. So, again, I ask you about those two kids specifically because I know that they're leaders on your team, and it's really unfortunate when they go down, and I know they had good seasons. So, that's nice that they're, on the mend, and hopefully they'll be back sooner rather than later. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Algonquin, the team that you guys are going up against this Saturday. What do you know about Algonquin, and, what do you guys need to do to stop their offense?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, we know they do like to pass the ball. There are some very explosive athletes on the perimeter, like a couple really good receivers. The running back looked very talented as well. Not giving away the big play is key. I'm still looking at the weather almost every day here, trying to see what the forecast is on Saturday. Maybe a little help from Mother Nature would be welcome, but we're not going to necessarily depend on that. But like I said, I think the big thing is take away the big play. We'll do our best to do that. And if they're going to have to move the ball, we're going to make them earn their yards.
Now, you talked a lot about their offense, and rightfully so. Their defense was pretty strong this season as well, right?
Yes.
And we talked to Coach Debs before right before you, and coach said they kind of had like a bend but not break type defense, right? They might give up a little bit of yardage, but for the most part, they were able to kind of generate turnovers at a high rate and those types of things. So offensively, what do you guys need to do in order to kind of come out with the victory on Saturday?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's really tough to know, what teams are going to do to defend us.
Mm-hmm.
So, we saw some film, but, we do some unique stuff offensively. So it's always hard to game plan against an opponent, not knowing exactly what they're going to do there. That said, some really talented athletes, again, at linebacker and some big bodies on the D-line that we have to be aware of. So it's going to be a challenge, and we're expecting one of our toughest games of the year for sure.
So how did this game kind of come together, Coach?
Do you mean the NOSSA finals? Like,
yeah, the NOSSA final. Like, was there obviously there's been some whispers and rumors and everything about there might not be a NOSSA final, those types of things. So, kind of, can you kind of talk about how this ended up coming together and how you guys ended up playing North Bay specifically?
Sure. NOSSA football is on a 3-year rotation. It's Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, and North Bay. So, this year we were supposed to travel to Sudbury and play Sudbury in the NOSSA semifinal, and whoever wins that game was going to host North Bay in the NOSSA final. Sudbury had a late start, and we're having some red tape issues with COVID restrictions there. And I think because they started so late, and I didn't know if they were able to finish their playoffs in time, that they opted out of NOSSA this year. So we just got, I guess, technically considered a win by forfeit. So we earned the right to host North Bay. But next year, the rotation is different. I'm not sure right off the top of my head who travels where for the semi. But that's how it came about. But we're really, fortunate that, our Algoma District School Board administration did everything they could. And especially I want to say thank you to Joe Maurice, our superintendent. I know he worked tirelessly to try and get extracurriculars back in the schools in a safe manner. And I think he was excellent with that. I know some people, obviously wanted fans, as many as we could in there, but we were just happy to play. And we're one of the first regions to actually be playing high school football. So we're grateful for the work they did. And I'm sure, a similar thing in North Bay where they were able to compete this year.
So I know you don't want to look ahead, but obviously I did ask Coach Debs about this too. So, OFSA, there's been rulings that, what's going to happen down south and those types of things. What's going to happen? The winner of this game, will they have an opportunity to go to play an OFSA game? And if so, is it being hosted here in the Sioux?
So I spoke to Jim Barbo a couple days ago, who's the head of OFSA football. What was asked, I think, of us and also of North Bay is whoever wins the NOSSA final is going to host the OFSA Northern Bowl.
Okay.
So, we're not going to look ahead of that at all, but I think whatever team wins, they're going to have to really start. Hopefully the head coach has some help in getting that organized, and they will host, or whoever wins will host Thunder Bay champions in the OFSA Northern Bowl. But that is traditionally there's one venue, right? They want to have a CFL stadium or university stadium. And there's, I think, 8 bowl games. So you got 16 teams coming in with the restrictions on university campuses and even in CFL stadiums and all the logistics of getting 8 teams in and out of change rooms throughout the weekend. It just wasn't feasible. So what OFSA is asking this year is each of those 8 bowl games to be hosted in the respective regions. So of the 2 teams playing, one of those teams will host, and hopefully we get to play all the bowl games this season.
So before the season, you and I spoke a few times, and there was a lot of uncertainty, right? It was almost like things were going week to week. Despite the fact that you guys ended up winning the city championship, just in terms of football overall and how the season went overall, would you say it was at your expectation? Did it exceed your expectation, or was it below your expectation?
Considering all the challenges, I think it exceeded. I mean, again, I know an incredible amount of work went in at the administrative level, where they're trying to balance the opportunity for kids to play, but also safety. So, in a perfect world, we'd have pack stands, bands, the whole deal. But I get it. So we didn't go in expecting all the hoopla that surrounds the games, but I thought the gameplay was excellent. I think we saw great athletes competing week to week, and what more can you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? We said that every time we called the game, how great it was just to be able to have football. So that was really nice. Obviously, Coach, you've talked a lot about your staff. Before I kind of let you go here, I gave Coach Debs the opportunity as well. So obviously your success at Korah, the head coach, you're the guy that does a majority of the work, right? And you're also the guy that gets a lot of the credit, which is well-deserved. Talk a little bit about your staff and the guys that you have helping you out and kind of what they bring to the table and what they brought to the table this year.
Yeah, we got a great staff. I mean, the credit goes to the players, though. We're blessed with great athletes, and they put in a tremendous amount of work, to be elite. But I'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Tyler Hankins is our offensive coordinator. I think he's one of the brightest OC minds in high school football. He's done a great job. I know we kind of had a system that we plugged in and we asked him to continue running, but he added his own spin to it. And I think he's made it even more explosive. So hats off to him. Travis Zorzit works with our O-line along with Bob Lambert. They've done a phenomenal job. Anyone who watches us play knows is that our O-line, we're not always the biggest, but that's definitely a strong point for us. Just the aggression and speed they play with. Working with the receivers, we had Dustin Grondin, who's working at Korah now as well. Really lucky to have him. Matt Primo is there usually in the booth for us. But just the head coach of the varsity SaberCats, tremendous experience, and what an asset to have. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Jamie Antonello, who's our defensive coordinator. He's been coaching forever at this varsity level with the SaberCats organization. He's coached junior at Korah, and he's helped us at the senior level for a long time. Just a very bright mind who's coached all three facets, specials, offense, defense, and been very successful. He's also head coached. And then defensively, we're the linebackers, and also helping with DCing is Jason Thompson, who played linebacker with me at Wilfrid Laurier. He just does a great job as well, scheming and coaching up the linebackers. Helping him was Aaron Karanen. That's Nathan Karanen's older brother who played for us, as a captain for us. I forgot to mention Ethan Trecarton, who's Owen Trecarton's brother. He helps with us too. We have Austin Neal that works with us and helps us. Who am I forgetting here? Jeez.
Matt Clevis. That's about it. That's all I can
Matt Clevis, our medical professional on the sidelines. We sure are lucky to have him. Wolfie and Johnny help as well.
Yeah.
We got a great staff, like tons of people helping us out.
That's great.
And we even have some of our junior staff up now that their season's over, giving us a hand at practice and some of their players. So it's a full program. And, there's people in the school too that help us with behind the scenes stuff. Lisa Fletcher, Marco DeRubis. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Eugene Pagliaro does some promotional stuff for us. So I get it. We're blessed that, it takes a village, and we have so many people helping us now. And I know not every high school has that. And I've been there where it's like you're the head coach and you maybe have two guys helping you and you're trying to do everything. So it's a program. It's a great culture, and we're blessed to have that.
Awesome, Coach. Listen, really appreciate you doing this. One question we did have just to kind of before we wrapped up is the game time at 1 or at 3? Because we've been told two different things. So what time is the game on Saturday? So for people to know.
It's 1 o'clock. I think another site mistakenly put it as 3, but it is a 1 o'clock kickoff this Saturday at Sup Heights Field. Yeah.
And how are the fans working? Is it anyone can come in? Is it 2 fans per player? How's that working?
Yeah, they're going to stick with the same policy they've been using all year, which is each player can register 2 fans. I know we were talking about possibly boosting it, but I think some of our numbers have risen recently, so we're going to stick with that.
Fair
but same goes to North Bay. If they have any traveling fans, they have the ability to register 2 fans as well.
That's great. The game will be live on Saultsports Radio. We will be calling it. Myself and Ryan Lillington will be doing the play-by-play, so we look forward to that. And Coach, best of luck on Saturday. I look forward to talking to you after the game. And we obviously know that the Korah Colts and that you guys are going to represent Sault Ste Marie extremely well, and we're blessed to have you guys playing in this game. So best of luck.
Thanks, Bono. Thanks, Jay. The coverage has been excellent. We're blessed to have that. And go Colts, TPW.
Take care, Coach. Good luck.